I've been able to make over $573,000 selling AI to businesses. I have a bunch of other money in wires and other payment processors. I'll hit the refresh here so you know I'm legit. I'm not trying to flex or anything, just so you know that I know what I'm talking about. There you go. And in this video, I'm going to be walking through the step-by-step process on how to pick a niche, how to pick an offer, like what offer to sell, how to fulfill on this offer, how to delegate on this offer, and then how to sell, what the profit margins are, how to actually get customers for this offer, as well as the entire funnel, as well as the lead nurturing process, and even the pitching process to the client. So let's jump right into this video. So the niche. Your niche will make or break your business in the business journey and how quickly you see results. I see way too many people who are starting a business and are selling a commoditized offer to a commoditized audience. They sell to everybody and anybody who reaches out to them. And the tough thing about that is, especially if this is your first business model, it's almost impossible to gain the confidence in order to speak to somebody if you don't know what you're talking about, okay? If you don't know what provides results for lawyers or know what provides results for accountants, okay? If you're showing results to a plumber about, a success story you had with a lawyer, what does that mean to him? That doesn't mean anything. He doesn't know if it works for other lawyers or other plumbers just like him. So the main thing that you have to do when you're starting off is you have to pick a niche, and you don't need to overthink it. There's a couple different ways you can pick. I've selected a couple different industries here that I think work really well for this offer that we're selling, which is conversational AI, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. But a good way to pick a niche if you don't want to pick these, or you're just not sure how to do it, is it's a mix of ChatGPT and some research and a couple different methods. So number one thing that I would look for is any sort of personal connection. So if you have a brother-in-law that's a lawyer, or you have your friend's dad that's a roofer, that's a personal connection that you have to somebody in the industry. And you have a lot of advantages with somebody like that, whether that could be potentially your first client or a source of information for getting a better idea and, good quality data on what somebody in that industry is looking for, the problems that they face. That way you can tweak and kind of change your offer based on that. So it's the most important thing that you need to understand is just diving into a business without getting an understanding of the core issues and problems that they face is going to have you waste months and months of time. That's the case. So most important thing is pick a niche. For this, I'm going to use home services. So it's not a sub niche, it is a niche overall. I would say HVAC is kind of like the main targeting I'll use for this example. So that's like heating, ventilation, air conditioning. I think that's what HVAC is. So awesome. So now once you've picked your niche, and like I said, if you still can't decide, a good thing to do is literally ChatGPT. I'm starting an AI business for selling, phone calling, AI, and lead gen. What is the best niche to sell to? There you go. So high volume, poor delayed follow-up, high customer value. Roofing, HVAC, plumbing, solar, garage doors, landscaping, pest control. Why it works: these businesses often spend thousands on home advisory, Angie, or Facebook ads, and they suck at following up. AI follows up, instantly qualifies, and books jobs. There you go. So ChatGPT said it itself, and then that's part of what I was going to say. First is the personal connection. Second is the industry that relies the most on calls. So the higher volume, the better, the more leverage, the more return on investment that they're going to see. Now, number two, the offer. So part of our offer, what we're going to do is we're going to target the three main pillars of business. So lead generation, appointment generation, and then closing deals, of course. So money into the business. And what we're going to do for each section is we're going to fulfill. We're not going to become a commodity where we can be replaced by one person. You're going to become a master at generating leads for a niche. You're going to become a master at the scripts and the best optimized AI scripts in order to convert those leads over the phone with appointment setting, as well as enhancing their sales, with their technicians, or even placing in new sales and technicians into their business if necessary. So once again, for the leads, we're going to be using paid ads through ads on Google, Facebook, and Instagram. Okay, combination of those. Second, for getting appointments, we're going to be using an AI phone caller to schedule appointments with these leads. And number three, for closing deals, we're going to enhance their scripts either by hiring a sales script VA or just using ChatGPT to optimize the scripts. And if that doesn't work, a talent agency where we're placing in closers. Now, another thing that you can do to replace this closing side of the business, if they already have a high percentage close rate, a lot of the technicians and these guys, they're not tech savvy. So when it comes to these first two pillars, they suck. But most of them I've seen for HVAC, they're good at closing. So what you can do if you want to replace this is you could do a CRM setup or a Jobber setup. So Jobber is a CRM for home service businesses, and basically Jobber knows that most of these HVAC guys are super old school. So they're quoting, scheduling, invoicing on paper. So you can see that: ditch the spreadsheets and scraps of paper, look professional, and establish a reputation that wins the trust of new customers. And you can literally learn how to implement and place in Jobber for free on YouTube in a couple of quick hours. And this could be something as, it's part of your offer that could create, just this alone, hundreds of thousands of dollars of value per year for this business owner. Having and organizing a system that allows them to scale could literally be their main issue. Like they could thrive on referrals, and their customers just don't want to work with them because they're not organized or whatever. And this could fix that alone. So this is a good alternative and something that we can implement to help this business. So yeah, that right there can be switched in with closing deals. Now, so as I've stated, for lead gen, we're going to be using Google Ads, Facebook Ads, Instagram Ads. For getting appointments for them, we're going to be using Synthflow. So Synthflow is a enterprise-ready voice agent for automated phone calling. It's a phone calling artificial intelligence method that you can literally call thousands of leads instantly. You can set up integrations with a bunch of CRMs. You can set up follow-up sequences, and you can integrate it with SMS and email to have a higher conversion on a lead. So you can see they have lots of great reviews. Synthflow's voice AI agents help us book more demos faster. We increase the conversion rates and the top of our lead pipeline, the number of contacts dialed by 31% and the number of answered calls 24%. With more people dialed, we're refocused the sales team on high value signals, right? So just conversational AI, there's a couple different options. You have Vappy.ai, which is another conversational AI platform. However, it's more tailored towards developers. So this is a harder thing to work with. And then once again, for closing deals, you can either use ChatGPT, right, to optimize, or you can hire a VA on Upwork. So once you're on this tab here, you can go to search for talent, and you can actually view job posts of people. So here, let's see, sales optimizer or sales script writer. Like that would be one of the headlines. And then you can see here, you have Haley. She has 100% job success. That means for every job that was assigned to her on Upwork, she had a 100% success rate. 5 stars. She has over 100K in earnings, 224 total jobs, 1,100 hours, 100% success rate. Okay. You have her hourly cost. You have the language that she speaks. You have a video introduction. You have a bunch of information about her, client feedbacks, over 59 reviews, skills that match her, right? A bunch of different things about what she can do and what she has done. So this is pretty crazy, as you can see, and you can do this for any role too. So sales script writer, you could also just have like a closer, like let's see, HVAC closer. So virtual sales professional, sales expert. So you can have these guys who are training their sales reps. You can also use talent agencies, like I said. There's a bunch of those online, and you can place in closers for them. The only tough thing is they're local businesses, so they have to go in person, which means they're in a geographical location. So usually talent agencies will run ads in the area and find closers. So keep that in mind. That's a little bit more tough, and it really depends. Like one closer could be good, another could be bad, which could make or break your entire fulfillment for that client. So personally, I would stay away from that. It is something that you can offer that's super valuable. So, and then through the paid ads, there's a couple different methods. So you can use white label digital marketing agencies. So like white label agency, you have Dash Clicks, and basically you can just pay these guys $500 a month, and they do white label fulfillment for your clients. So yeah, that's basically how it works. Now, how do we fulfill on this offer? So basically what we're doing is we're using an arbitrage process. So for all of the money that I've closed in this business, I would say since the first or second month, I've delegated every single thing. So after the first or second month, I was doing it myself. So first or second month, I was doing it myself. And then afterwards, it was a delegated process. So I had a software engineer who does the fulfillment. I have a CSM who is in charge of client success, ensuring clients are happy. I have an appointment setter who's speaking to these leads, getting them booked in if they aren't self-booking. I have my own AI that's calling the leads, right? So all of that stuff is now delegated. So that is the arbitrage process and how that works. So basically, the client provides the money. So a lot of people are like, wait, Nick, I don't have money to pay all these people. I don't have money. That's not a problem at all. So you are going to be using the money that your client gives you. So let's say client provides money for the service, right? You allocate funds. So you set aside a portion of the funds. You don't go and, buy a new car or spend all the money on ads right away. You allocate funds for the contractors that you're going to sign on. The contractor performs the service. The service is delivered to the client, and then you retain majority of the funds, which you have to scale. You've paid on your contractors, so they're happy. And then eventually what you do is, as you scale your business, if the contractors are doing well, you can bring them on as full-time employees. And what happens is, if you're having a steady flow of leads coming through, it's actually cheaper than paying them per build, because you have them for a set amount of hours, like 8 hours a day, 4 or 5 days a week. So you're going to be spending a lot less money overall if you just have a consistent amount of leads coming through and not paying them per build. Now, personally, when you're starting out, I do not recommend using this financial arbitrage process. Now, the main reason I don't recommend it is because I think if you go into this and you just throw whatever needs to be done at these contractors without any prior training, without any system that's been proven to work before for your business, specifically for your offer, then you can't really expect a contractor to go in there and make a system that works and trust that it's going to work. So there's a reason that the first 1 or 2 months in my business, I was doing all of the fulfillment on my own, is because number one, profit margins. I wanted as much as possible to scale the business. Number two, I had nothing else to do. Okay. And number three, I needed to learn the systems. I needed to learn the process. I needed to create systems and training so that when I do bring on contractors, they have some sort of basic idea of how to get started. Now, they're experts. So overall in the industry with fulfilling, they can do a lot more than me. They know a lot more, right? They understand how to code, for example, a software engineer. But in terms of the process that works for my business, they don't know that. They would have to guess. They will have to, do a bunch of different things, a bunch of different testing, and they don't own the business. So, if this client doesn't work out for them, it's not a big deal. They just don't get paid for the job. For you, if the client doesn't get fulfilled properly, it is a huge, huge, huge problem, because then you would have to refund them the entire, you had to pay for that client for paid ads. So it is a huge mess if that happens. That's why I suggest when you're starting off, do everything on your own, understand the basics, and then delegate it, and then pass it on to somebody. That way you can have a basic training in place, have basic SOPs, standard operating procedures in place, to where they have an idea of what they can do. So once again, to fulfill on our offer, the marketing agency, so for the lead gen, we're going to hire a white label marketing agency. It's going to cost around $500 a month for that. To fulfill for our AI caller that's going to call our clients' leads and appointment set for them, we're going to hire an AI developer. And then to improve sales scripts or place closers, we're going to hire a VA for the sales scripts, or we're going to place in an Upwork or a jobber expert who can build this CRM out for us. So how much do we sell this for? Okay, so this offer is going to be a combination of different things, and personally, $10,000 upfront. It's a nice round even number. You can charge a lot more for this because it is a lot more value if you're consistently providing results for your clients. And what that's going to do is it's going to include 3 months of support. So $10,000 for 3 months. Now, what happens is, the reason why I say 3 months of support and not 1 month or 2 months or whatever is because with this $10,000 up front, you want to ensure and make it clear to your client that there's still going to be testing done. There's still going to be a process, a build process, a nurturing process. It's not just going to be like an instant bam, the problem that you had with your HVAC business for the last 20 years is going to get solved in 1 month with our conversational AI, right? So you want to ensure that by the time your retainer kicks in, okay, which is going to be an upsell or an ascension, you're not going to tell your client right off the bat unless they ask questions. You want to ensure that they're happy with you, and not only that they're happy with you, but they're seeing results to where they're now reliant on you. So 3 months is giving you enough time to where you can start to, change the ads around if they're not working the first month, optimize the contractors that you have hired on, optimize the sequences, tweak the jobber setup if things need to be tweaked in order to actually be able to fulfill for this client. Okay. Otherwise, if they don't see good results within the first 3 months, they are never going to pay you. Okay. So if you, for example, charge 10 grand up front, and then the first month, you only offered 1 month of support, when the second month comes around and you say, hey, I have a $1,000 monthly retainer fee that we're charging now, if they haven't seen results, they're going to say, fuck you. And they might even ask for a refund on the 10K up front. So you want to ensure that they're happy. Okay. Then, like I said, retainer kicks in. It's $1,500 here, but I honestly recommend around $500 to $1,000 a month, depending on complexity, depending on the number of agents, depending on how much support they require. And that would just be like a Slack channel, a Discord channel, and maybe like a couple of weekly check-in calls, like 1 or 2 weekly check-in calls. just ensuring that they're happy, or bi-weekly check-in calls, and yeah, that's going to be essentially the core of the offer. And just so that you're clear, the client is covering all ad spend, and the client is also covering software fees. So the 10K isn't covering, you're not paying for their ads. I just want to make that clear because some people have been asking in the comments. Awesome. So that's all great and dandy, Nick. 10,000 up front, but we have to pay people. Okay, so after you've learned the process and now you're delegating to software engineers and contractors to fulfill for you, what are the profit margins going to look like? So for 3 months, white label agency is going to run you $1,500. For an AI developer, I've seen $1,000 on the high end for the cost per build. Usually these builds take around 6 to 7 hours, and you can see on Upwork here, if we go to software engineer or AI software engineer, that a lot of these guys are like 14 an hour. This guy's 120 an hour, so he's on the high end, 22 an hour, 50 an hour. So for 6 hours of work, you can get a 150 an hour AI agent to complete that build. So this is on the high end, and so that'll run you at max $1,000. And then that VA, you don't need them for the 3 months. I would just optimize the sales scripts within the first month. You can get a VA from the Philippines for $300 a month, or like I said, you could just do it yourself. And that leaves you with around $6,600 in profit, which is 66% profit margins, and that's with contractors. So my profit margins right now are about 75% because for the acquisition and the delegation now, I don't pay per build. So I just pay salaries, and within that, they can do as many builds as possible within their hourly rate. So, if that doesn't make sense, just you can break it down and you can see how that would be cheaper. So $6,600, right? That's a lot of money for scaling ads. That's a lot of money for, potentially even bringing on these guys full time right away if they're doing a good job. But yeah, like I said, don't rush into that process. Just make sure everything is good for your first client in terms of fulfillment, and that the contractors understand the process. Because if you can do it with one contractor, you can do it with any. Amazing. So now we understand the profit margins we're going to be left with, how much we're selling it for, how to fulfill on our offer, how to learn the financial arbitrage process for delegation, the offer we're selling, and then the niche we are going after. How are we actually going to sell for this offer? Okay, like how are we going to sign clients for this offer? This is all on fulfillment, covering how to fulfill for our clients. We're going to be using pretty much only Meta ads. So it's a mix of Instagram and Facebook ads. And basically what we're going to do, and how Meta and Instagram ads work, is you have a headline, which is just the top kind of message that you see, like HVAC guys doing 50K a month, HVAC contractors, let AI do the calling for you, stuff like that. Then you have a primary text on the ad, which is just a paragraph if they click see more and they want to see more information. And then you actually have the creative. So that's the image or the video that people are viewing on the ad. Now, for the primary text and the headline, it's as simple as ChatGPT. Okay, you can literally write a prompt, you can play, you can tweak the prompts, you can even paste in the ChatGPT back once you have the result and say, hey, I have this, ad copy and headline. Is this good? Can you optimize this for me further? Right, so create a bunch of ad scripts for me to sell my conversational AI phone caller to local businesses. I need a headline as well as a primary text and a good hook to keeping the lead wanting more. So it'll literally create the scripts for you. Now, the creative. So this is for the primary text and the headline. For the creative, there's 2 ways you can go about it. First, you have the UGC video, which is a user-generated content talking, or you have the demo call of the AI. Now, personally, I've seen this UGC video has a much lower cost per lead. It is, really cool because you're using AI, and I'm going to show you how you can do that. Now, the demo caller I found is really good for higher quality leads, and it's straight to the point. So it's, you can use a hook in the beginning of the call to attract the lead's attention, and then it's literally previewing the product that you're selling. So UGC, let's walk through one of those videos. So as you can see here, you can literally plug and paste a script into here. You can pick an AI actor, and then this is the video that it generates.
Are you a home service business owner still wasting time chasing leads in 2025? In the next 60 seconds, I'm going to show you how my team and I are helping over 100 contractors, plumbers, HVAC tech.
So as you can see here, you can plug and paste this script. If you want to see the script, you can literally see it right here and copy it. So that's the AI UGC ad. Pretty cool. As you can see, you can literally record a talking head video while sitting on your bed, laying in bed, which is pretty cool. And yeah, so that's one of the options. Now the second option is a demo call of the AI. So as you can see here, this is the demo call, basic kind of voice thing moving, company name, home service businesses, never miss another phone call.
Hello, and thanks for calling Sky High Roofing. This is Eric. How can I help you today?
Hey, how's it going? I have a leak in my roof right now. Some of the tiles are damaged, and I see it's leaking through.
I'm sorry to hear about that, but you've called
So pretty cool, right? You have that hook in the beginning with a ring, and then you have a actual preview of what a call would be like for a business owner, if they had somebody call in and speak to, what would normally be them or somebody that they have speaking on the phone. Okay, so those are the two options that you have for running the ad creative. Now what happens once they click that learn more button? So you have the headline, primary text, and the creative, and then the button to, I'm interested, I'm a business owner, I'm interested. So you have this funnel. Okay, now it's composed of 3 pages. You have the VSL page, you have the booking page with qualifying questions, and then you have the thank you page. On the VSL page, it's literally calling out that business, appointments at 10,000 leads per minute, right? You have the VSL that's walking through the technicality, so everything that would turn the sales call into a question and answer so that they understand the process, that's covered on the VSL. Financial qualification. Then you have a booking page with qualifying questions. So you just have the calendar here. You have the name, email, phone number, website. Please explain your business 1 to 3 sentences. What bottlenecks do you want to have Insight A solve? If you had a guaranteed ROI, would you be able to invest $5K? Have you watched the pre-call video, and do you agree to show up on the requested time? Then once they go past that, there's a thank you video, just ensuring that they've watched the pre-call, just being professional, saying thank you, ensuring that they confirm the invitation, showing a screenshot here where they click yes to accept the call, and then once again showing the VSL, ensuring they watch the VSL. You don't want your sales call to turn into a question and answer, so ensure that the VSL is walking through the technical questions so that it's not a question and answer. If they find out how your business works and the functionality on the same call that you're trying to charge 10 grand, you're not going to close very many people. They need time to process, they need time to think, and it's kind of, just shoving it down their throat, all the information, and then asking them for money. So the only problem with this funnel right here is between the VSL page and the booking page and the questions, I don't know why it says 5 to 12%, but 1 to 3% of leads of cold leads self-book. So 1 to 3%, if you have 100 leads come through, 1 of those is going to close. If you have 100 leads coming through, sometimes 3 of those will self-book. So the solution for that is the exact system that we use in order to generate leads for them. So we're going to have an SMS nurturing sequence with an AI caller going on, and email nurturing sequences all at the same time. So first SMS sent, second SMS is sent instantly right after they opt in, then 15 minutes later, an hour follow-up, 24-hour follow-up for the 8-hour follow-up. Okay, then the AI caller is going to double dial right away. They're going to follow up again in an hour, follow up in 12 hours, call 2 times a week for a month, and then call once per month until the lead is declared dead. And then for Go High Level, you're going to have email nurturing sequences, start with daily emails for 2 to 3 weeks, and then send reactivation emails monthly. Okay, so that's how we're going to run, and that's how we're going to convert more of our leads because of this low cold self-booking rate. Now it's only this low because the funnel is qualifying. If you open up the calendar, you open up the qualification, you'll have more people coming through, but not people you want to get on call with. So if you're going to do that, you just have a triage process in place. So yeah, that's pretty much everything when it comes to selling. Now, the onboarding process and just what you're going to do in terms of removing remorse to the client and what you're going to let them know is with this, cool little diagram I made here. Okay, so if the client asks, okay, what happens next if we're to move forward? So it's really as simple as we'll send over an onboarding form. Okay, as soon as that's completed, we're going to review everything. Then we're going to get started on your ads with whatever you provided in the onboarding form. We will tweak it and we will create optimal ads in order to, based on the industry standards of what we've seen. Then once that's completed, we're going to send over those ads for review. And then those ads are going to go live at the same time that the AI caller is set up in order to call all the leads that are coming through, getting them booked in for that in-person technician. At the same time, while all of that's going on, we're going to have SMS and email sequences that are nurturing the leads in order to get them to pick up the phone the next time. Not trying to sell them on anything, literally just trying to say, hey, if you need help, we need to find out. And you opted in on one of our ads. If you need help, let's just get on the phone, and nurturing them to pick up the phone. The AI is booking in those leads as well as reminding them of their in-person technician. So we can set up reminder calls for whenever, 24 hours before to ensure they don't forget about their appointment. And then what we're going to do is that, closer placement and sales refinement based on if the sales is slow and the process is slow once those leads start to come in. So there you go, guys. You have everything that you need to go and get started today selling AI. And like I said, you could literally start today with everything that I've given in this video. But I do have another opportunity for those who are more interested in seeing results quicker, are willing to invest in themselves, and want to see faster results. I have an opportunity. So on top of selling AI, I actually work with people one-on-one, and I help them scale and sell this. And part of the benefit of working with me is you don't have to pay for software costs. We give you your own account when you're working with us. I treat it almost as a partnership with me. So it's not consulting. It's not a course or anything like that. It's literally working with me one-on-one. So if that's something you're interested in, I will have a link in the description below where you can apply to book a call with me. It's completely up to you. Like I said, you can get started today with everything that I said. It just might take you a little bit longer to get everything in terms of the setup done and the fulfillment process. So don't get me wrong, it's completely possible. But for those of you who want to see that speed and want to get their first client signed within 30 days, you have that option to book a call with me in the description below. We do not accept just anybody, so if you get canceled, if your call gets canceled, or if you're not allowed to book a call, just that's the reason why. But yeah, once again, if you're interested in that, link in the description below. If not, check out, I have lots of other videos on my channel. I just actually posted a video of closing a live deal, a live call. I've had a lot of people request to see that, so go and check that out. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Let me know what else you want to see in the comments below. Bye-bye.